Hello guys, it's Tisha again, and in today's video I'm going to discuss the new Mantle release patch that just came out for Battlefield 4 today, on the 30th of January. This patch isn't for Mantle exclusively, it's actually the first patch for Battlefield 4 that actually balanced the game out. Up until now, all the patches were fixing the game itself, the netcode, etc. And this one was the first patch where they actually balanced things. What is in the patch? It includes some vehicle tweaks which are very long, so I'm not going to read them. And DMR changes, it basically makes them better and more usable, and other items, other things and changes that are very significant actually. The most important one is the reduction of the duration of the black screen when spawning in, which fixes the issue with players getting killed before being in game. Before that, the black screen was second 0.3, which is crazy a lot. It greatly reduces the risk of crosshair disappearing, which would also result in hit markers disappearing, so less hit markers disappeared. Added a headshot icon on the kill card. This should help identify instances where players are correctly killed by one shot. This is very nice because sometimes when I get killed by someone, I'm just, what the fuck is going on? I started shooting first and he gets me in one shot, it's crazy. It has fixed an issue where players are exploiting the softlam and the MAV, and it has fixed the gameplay code to properly track the field of view changes in option menu. Now, that's enough for the patch. Let's talk a bit about Mantle. Mantle, what is it? It's a replacement for DirectX 11, and for now it's only for GCN cards, which currently are only made by AMD. Mantle is a new low-level graphics API that DICE has been working very closely with AMD on over the last 2 years. It's a major change and improvement to how we are able to program and use modern GPUs in order to get the most out of them. Fortunately, Mantle is going to be for all GCM products, which include the HG7000 series, which is my card, HG7950, the HG8000 series, the R9, R8 and R7 series, I think. I'm not sure if there's R6, but if there is one, it's going to be support. Now that the Mantle patch is released, Battlefield 4 is ready for using Mantle, but AMD currently aren't done with the proper driver for it. It's the AMD Catalyst 14.0 beta, which will support, as I said, all desktop GCM products, but unfortunately on release it will work only for the R9 290X, 290 and R7 260M, I think, I'm not entirely sure. They're going to be the only cards that are going to be able to utilize Mantle on launch. Fortunately for me and for other people with different type of cards, they're working with EA to further optimize performance on the R9 280X, 270X, the HG7000 series and 8000 series. This includes mobile GPUs, that's amazing. We're not going to get it right on launch, but we're still going to get Mantle, which is very nice for FPS improvements. Many of you are probably wondering how to enable Mantle. Currently you're not able to because the AMD drivers aren't released, but there are few requirements for it. The set driver 14.0 from AMD, AMD Radeon GPU with Graphics Core Next or GCN technology, and a 64-bit Windows, be it Windows 7, Windows 8 or 8.1, it doesn't matter. The way to choose which API to use, DirectX or Mantle, is very easy. You just have to go to the in-game graphics options after starting the game, and there's a new option in the menu. It's called Graphics API above the full screen monitor. You have to just switch it from DirectX to Mantle or vice versa. Then you have to restart the game, and that's about it. If this option is missing, that means you do not have a compatible GPU and driver, and the game you use the standard DirectX 11. There have been few performance tests that show a lot of improvements using Mantle. The first test case scenario is with a low-end single-player computer. It's on 720p resolution, medium settings. The CPU is a very APU, 4 cores at 3.7 GHz, and that's it. It uses the integrated GPU. This area of the level is very heavy on the CPU, and there's quite a lot of action going on. This means that the game is primarily GPU bound, both on DirectX and with Mantle, but thanks to GPU optimizations with Mantle, you'll get a good performance improvements, and to be exact 14% from 39 frames to 43. The second test scenario is with standard 64-player multiplayer with a high-end CPU, the FX 8350, 8 cores at stock 4 GHz. This equals an i5 3570K at 4.5 or something. The GPU is the AMD Radeon 7970 at stock logs, which is actually a bit below the performance of my current card overclock. The settings are 1080p on Ultra with no MSAA. Windows 8 level is Siege Shanghai. It was tested with 64 pseudo players, something that they use while developing the game. It simulates a heavy game workout and it will give the same results every time. 64 players on a large battlefield level is really demanding on the CPU, so this test case is primarily CPU bound and the improvements are 25.1%, or to be exact, from 53 frames to 67. That's a lot. And the test 3 case scenario is a high-end single player with multiple GPUs. It's the i7 3970 12 logical cores at 3.5 GHz. That's crazy a lot. And 2 AMD Radeon R9 290X, which is the second fastest graphics card in the world right now. The settings are 1080p, Ultra with 4x anti-aliasing, and Windows 8. The improvement there is crazy a lot. It's 58% faster, which means from 78 FPS to 116. It's because the CPU is not fast enough to keep the two 290X GPUs fed at 1080p. If you were, let's say, playing at a higher resolution, then yes, the improvement would be less. That's about it with Mantle. It's something very good, and I think it's sort of the future for gaming, because it lets you use the most of your graphics card. You pay for it. Why shouldn't you be able to use Mantle? Hence more frames. It's definitely a big development in technology, and I'm very glad that happened. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. I'll see you in the next one.